Prince Handley coming to you with 100,000 watts of pure healing, miracle working love. I want to talk to you today about healing and mental health, or what is mental awareness. Let me give you a description of what we're going to cover today. There is a 25% increase in mental health issues since the COVID pandemic. That's in the United States. There's also a 35% increase due to anxiety and/or depression. My message to you today is to break the stigma. Think about it. What is the difference between being treated for diabetes or thyroid or heart conditions or for mental health conditions? What is the difference in having a prescription for mental health problems and for physical problems? We will discuss these issues in this teaching. And as always, our goal is your complete deliverance, healing, and your future health. So let's talk about healing and mental health, or what is mental awareness. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. And it helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. Over the course of your life, if you experience mental health problems, your thinking, your mood, and your behavior could be affected. Many factors contribute to mental health conditions, including biological factors such as your genes or brain chemistry, life experiences such as abuse, or family history of mental health problems. I know a Christian brother, a church leader, who was suffering from a severe case of depression and went to another ministry leader for counseling. The advice he received was this: man up and pray more. Now, this may be a good advice in some cases, but not for this brother who needed serious mental help. He needed to see a seasoned psychologist or a psychiatrist. My friend, there are several examples in the Holy Bible of God's people who were being attacked with mental issues, either from personal danger or threats or demonic attacks, or both. Eliyahu, or Elijah the prophet, was overcome with fear. You can read about that in 1 Kings chapter 18. Rabbi Shaul, or the Apostle Paul, despaired of life itself. You can read about that in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 8. However, notice that both of these men, Elijah and Paul, listened to God and received help and direction when they obeyed God. I have a friend who was a director of an international Christian organization whose daughter was in a very serious auto accident. As a result of the accident, she suffered a brain injury. Her husband divorced her because of this condition. She had previously been a Sunday school teacher. She was so badly afflicted that she was placed in the worst cell by herself in the mental institution due to demonic possession. One day, while going to visit his daughter, my friend was stopped at a traffic light. Even though he was very sad thinking about his daughter and the change that had taken place in her life, he decided, while waiting on the traffic light to change, to start praising God in faith for her healing. When my friend arrived at the mental hospital, his daughter was totally delivered and in her right mind for the first time in months. It was such a miracle that the hospital made her stay a few more days to make sure it was real. Now, in the show notes of this podcast, I'm going to list several teachings that I have done in recent years dealing with certain types of mental conditions and how to be healed. For example, healing mental disease and depression, healing from anxiety and panic attacks, healing from body and mind abuse, healing from a stranger in your body, and healing from stress. Let me say that there's nothing wrong with going to doctors or seeking professional help for any type of afflictions, physical, spiritual, emotional, or mental. Many times a person may take medicines to alleviate problems while they are believing God for healing. If you find yourself in this situation, just pray over the medicine and thank God for using it while you're waiting and believing the Lord, Yahweh Rapha, for your healing. By the way, Yahweh Rapha is the Lord our healer. That's his name in Hebrew. In my book, Health and Healing, Complete Guide to Wholeness, I share in the first 2 paragraphs of the introduction the following. In the 39th year of King Asa's rule, he was diseased in his feet until his disease was very critical. Yet in his disease he did not seek the Lord, but went to the physicians for help. He died 2 years later. You can read about that in 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 11 to 13 in the Tanakh. Now, there's nothing wrong with going to physicians or seeking medical help or advice, but what we should do is seek the Lord first to see what he wants us to do. He may want to heal us by his sovereign power over a period of time or instantaneously. So let me summarize, my friend. For too long, people who have suffered mental health issues have either been looked down upon or felt guilty or embarrassed for seeking professional help, and many times have been ostracized because of their condition. This should not be so. Seeking mental health care is no different than seeking other types of health care. Society, especially Christian society, needs to remove the stigma. My friend, if you need healing of any kind for anything, I'm going to pray for you right now. Father in heaven, your Hebrew name is Yahweh Rapha, the Lord our healer. I pray in the name of your Son, Mashiach Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah, that the person reading this message or hearing this message will call to you for help, for guidance, and for healing of whatever is afflicting them. My friend, I trust this teaching will help you. Now you go encourage and heal others. This has been your friend, Prince Handley, coming to you with 100,000 watts of pure, healing, miracle-working love. Baruch haba b'shem Adonai.